Good afternoon and welcome to this live stream from the Hutt Valley Chamber of Commerce. This afternoon I'm delighted to introduce you to Amanda Walters, who's sitting next to me here today. Amanda is our new Education to Events Coordinator, Education to Employment Coordinator at the Hutt Valley Chamber. Amanda, thank you for joining us today. Great. So one of the programs that is going to be very important as we all set to recover from COVID-19 is to help fill some of the unemployment numbers that are rising. And one of the areas that is most impacted by unemployment is certainly with our young people. So the Hutt Valley Chamber at the end of last year partnered with the Hutt City Council and our Hutt City Council to tender to government to get some programs into the Hutt Valley to help our young people connect with our employers and help them understand the local career opportunities and vocations that are here right in the valley, and to help them meet with employers and find rewarding careers and find employment opportunities. Of course, when we did this work last year, none of us even heard of COVID or coronavirus or anything like that. But given the impact that the virus has had on our economy and what is coming in the future, the sector of our community is one of the most at-risk sectors in terms of unemployment. Already one of the first things you could see during the initial stages of lockdown is young people who had part-time roles, a lot in hospitality and events and tourism, losing those part-time roles. And many of those young people now are worried about the future that sits before them and what they're actually going to do for a career when they're leaving school this year or next year, and even younger young people who will not be leaving the education system, leaving the secondary school education system for several years. So this program of work is now even more important than it's ever been. And we are delighted to be able to welcome Amanda to our team here at the Hutt Valley Chamber and to start a program of work to help connect the young people in our schools across Upper Hutt and Lower Hutt with the fabulous businesses and employers we have in our community. So Amanda, do you want to give us a little bit of background on what you've done previously? Because certainly you've had a lot of experience in this field.
Yeah, sure. So prior to this role, I was working in Parua, carrying out a very similar role, engaging employers and businesses with the local schools there. There's a few less schools than there are in the Hutt Valley. So it was a smaller role as such. And before that, I was a careers advisor at one of the colleges in Parua. And I also spent a number of years teaching young people at Federea. And it was through this work that it became really important to me to be connecting the young people with employers. There's quite a gap there and it really needs to be filled. And that's why I took this role, because Hutt, to me, is quite a vibrant community. They've got great businesses and employers who are very keen to connect with young people. And I think it's a really good starting point for the new chamber.
Excellent. Yeah, and we're very delighted to have you, as you know. So Amanda's only been with us 2 weeks, but has been very busy going out and meeting with many of the schools. So how about some of the schools you've spoken to recently?
So I've been into Hutt Valley High, quite a large school. They're doing great work in there with their students with work experience opportunities. They've got a good gateway cohort of employers, which is really good to hear, and I've used them for quite a few years. So they're obviously building good relationships there. Hera Thomas School, they're going to be doing some work with us with school tours going forward. Wanyua Mata had a great school tour a couple of weeks ago, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And lots of the other schools as well, I've just been connecting with. So yeah, it's great. They're all really keen to become involved, and they can all see the need to be engaging with employers, and really would like employers to be doing the same as well.
Great. And so one of the early pieces of work we were doing in the lead up to Amanda starting at the Chamber was to try and get some of the communication out to our employers and get some of the employers to offer their services and to become involved in this program. And we've been actually pleasantly delighted with the amount of employers who've come forward and said, cool, I'll take a young person or a group of young people onto my site and show them what we do in this industry, or can you find us some young people who would be interested in our industry? And it's great to see the response from employers. Have you seen that in the past?
Yeah, I actually haven't seen it as big as it has been here. In my first 2 weeks here, I've been not inundated, but I've had a steady stream of employers emailing, especially after the newsletter went out. I think it was last week. I had quite a few employers step forward and say that they do want to work with young people. They're happy to talk about how, whether that is work experience or if it is a tour of their premises. And that's good that they actually want to come on board and engage with schools.
Yeah, and one of the other things that's really important to note is that these employers are volunteering their time, volunteering their connections in their own network, and actually taking quite a disruption to their business and doing, it might only be for an hour, but are trying really hard to encourage young people into local employment. We had a business come in the other day and talk to both Amanda and I, and she was volunteering her time to go into schools and help with CV creations and with interview skills and those sorts of things. And that's just a small local business, very expert in their field and willing to volunteer and donate some of their time to help young people into employment. And that's really exciting to see, isn't it?
It is as well, yeah. I think it's really good for the employers as well, because it gives their own staff a sense of confidence that they are actually helping young people. They're developing their own skills as well in leadership. So I think that's something important to remember as well. There's benefits to staff of the employers too.
Yeah. So there's also been increased announcements and publicity in this space as well in the last few weeks. Certainly the Hutt Valley Chamber has had numerous stories in national media around this work. We've been on Radio New Zealand, with stuff leading the education sector today and the Dominion Post, and so we've had a lot of publicity in trying to raise the awareness of connecting employers with young people. We've also got a very substantial program of work coming up in the next few months. Amanda, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we've got quite a few of the employers have offered up some tours around their premises for their students. So we did one a couple of weeks ago with Armstrong Downs Construction, which was really good. The students really enjoyed it. We had quite positive feedback, not only from Armstrong Downs themselves, but also from the students. And they definitely learned a lot from that one tour. And it was 1 hour, and 8 of those students have gained so much just with their skills. Some of the students want to stay at school, but that's really good that we're keeping them at school as well. And they want to get another year of education. And just all the trades that were talked about on that tour. I think there's 37 or 38 different trades on one construction site, which is great for the young people to be able to see. And we've got another tour coming up with Blue Carrot, which I'm personally looking forward to, because I think we get to do a taste tester on that one, so that'll be quite cool. We've got speed meets coming up with schools and employers, so if you're keen to become involved with that, let us know. Anything that is raising the profile really of vocational education and apprenticeships, that's the focus now for us going forward. Especially with the schools as well. So helping them with expos, career expos, any work experience opportunities. It's never too small if you can only spare an hour even to host a student for a work experience. They're still gaining something, then learning some skills they didn't have before. So it's still very valuable for our schools and young people.
Yeah, well, it was very interesting the other day on site at Armstrong Downs Commercial, seeing these 8 young people realise how much commitment and maturity they needed to work. That was very clear. And for some of them to say, actually, I'm not quite ready to work. I thought if I was, but I'm not quite ready to work. I'm going to go back to school for another year and just grow up a little bit more and be more prepared for work. And I think that's a really good result, rather than someone leaving school thinking they can easily get a job and then ending up in a role that they are not the least bit prepared for. So, and there were they were all boys actually, but there was another boy on that tour who made direct contact with Armstrong Downs Commercial and was speaking to the HR manager, the recruitment manager there, and that could easily lead to some work experience or something at some point. Another area that's gaining in publicity right now are apprenticeship schemes. Yeah. So certainly we are collating up a lot of information around all the support available for businesses to take on apprenticeships.
Yeah, we're developing at the moment information sheets, separate ones for students and parents to be able to read through to see which apprenticeships or all apprenticeships are free, but which particular courses going forward are free as well, at polytechnics and with ITOs and PTOs as well. And then so just developing those relationships with the students so they have that information is critical. They're not just going to come in and go to school and pick a sheet up, so we need to get out there and get that information to them. And also with the employers, we're developing an information sheet for them as well, so they can contact us. And it's just a 1-2 page with all the information around apprenticeships, what you are entitled to, the subsidies that you can get for them. And I think there's some really good ones out there at the moment. I mean, the government have definitely come to the party with these and have recognised that this is a good way forward. And hopefully we can get some employers taking some young people on.
Yeah, absolutely. And there have certainly already been some people coming through in really interesting industries. Some very, one in particular was a very specialised high-tech company in Lower Hutt actually, and they're looking for an apprentice later in the year. Another construction-related business in Upper Hutt looking for 2 apprentices reasonably soon. So businesses are already starting to call us and say, hey, I'm thinking about taking on an apprentice. Can you give me some information? Can you help me? And what's important to note is that because this work is funded through the Ministry of Social Development and the Ministry of Education, there's no charge for that service to the employer. So it's provided free to all businesses through the Hutt Valley Chamber of Commerce. You don't actually have to be a member of the Chamber, which is important to note. Of course, we'd love you to be, and we'd love to have your support, but it's provided free to all businesses who are looking to employ local young people. And that is part of our work to make sure that our business community is getting all the support that it needs. And while in the beginning that may have been sparked by a lack of skills and labour shortages and the difficulties our employers have in attracting the right staff, now that's changed that's changed substantially with COVID, but there is still a real need for young people to come through, and it's fabulous to see so many businesses who are keen to support this work and keen to employ our local young people. So I think that's a good overview for everyone today. Of course, we really are keen for more employers to step forward and offer their services and get involved with our work with these young people. It's very important that our school leavers have a good pathway that's well informed, and not just because they know a builder that they think they'll be a builder, or they know a plumber, so let's be a plumber. They need to have more informed choices and get more information in front of them, and be better prepared for the workforce. So, is there anything you'd like to add at all, Amanda?
I think we've covered most of it. I think that it is really good for the employers to be connecting with our young people. Any information that they get, they can't. Everyone says they can have too much information, but they can't. They can't have too much information. As much as they can get to help them make their mind up about their next career pathway is great, and every little bit of information they receive is valuable. And what might seem very small to you, very small things like, oh, you need your restricted license for this job. Young people don't know that, so if we can let them know now and get in earlier, then they are more prepared for when they leave, and they're not going to be turned down for a job because they didn't have their license. They're aware that they need it, and they can start preparing themselves earlier. So the more work we can do about that, the better.
Great. So what we'll do is, if we'll put Amanda's contact details up on this live feed for you. So if you are an employer or a business and you're interested in supporting our work with getting our young people into good employment choices and supporting, even showcasing your industry, maybe it's something that most people aren't even aware of, then please do get in touch with us. We're looking forward to working with you. And, I think it's very, very important when it comes to us all recovering from COVID-19 and moving forward and developing a local economy as well as a national economy that is strong and delivering the economic benefits that we all need right now. So thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you, Amanda, for coming online.
Thank you for having me
today, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you.